A group of teenage girls huddled together, shivering in the cold, old mansion on a stormy night. The dilapidated house groaned with every gust of wind, its windows rattling like the teeth of an ancient beast. Excitement and unease radiated off them as they gaped at their phones, the horrifying legend of a game they found online driving them to this reckless gathering. They surrounded a single, sputtering candle in the center of the room, the dim flicker barely penetrating the encroaching blackness. The air felt thick, and even the shadows seemed to stretch menacingly. The game's rules, initially benign, turned sinister as the girls read on. The instructions warned them against stopping or turning off the lights, punctuated by an ominous threat of dire consequences. An uncertain laugh from Clara broke the silence, but it did little to ease the palpable tension. Despite their growing unease, they decided to continue, their youthful bravado overshadowing the increasing sense of dread. Whispers soon filled the room, not from the girls, but from unseen entities. Doors creaked and slammed shut on their own volition, and shadowy figures drifted just beyond the periphery of their vision. Their laughter turned into nervous giggles, which then gave way to silence, broken only by their quickened breaths. A chill swept through the room as a ghostly figure emerged from the darkness. Its face was a grotesque mask of suffering, eyes burning with malevolence. The apparition lunged, sending the girls into a chaotic frenzy, their screams mingling with the sound of shattering objects. Terror overcame them, driving them out of the house and into the torrential rain. They ran blindly through the deserted streets, glancing back fearfully, certain the ghost pursued them. Drenched and breathless, they finally found refuge in a brightly lit café. The warmth and normalcy of the place should have comforted them, yet a lingering dread curled in the pit of their stomachs. As they nervously detailed their ordeal, an uneasy silence fell over the group, hinting the horror was far from over. Each girl confronted the ghost again in her own home. The malevolent spirit appeared behind mirrors, in dark corners, and even slithered beneath their beds. Their struggles to escape proved futile, the ghost's presence growing more relentless and vicious. Desperation drove them to a church. The grand, shadowy architecture loomed over them as they sought solace from a solemn priest. His eyes darkened with concern as he listened, the air heavy with the gravity of their plight. Together, the girls and priest prepared for a perilous exorcism. The church's ancient texts and the priest's grave assurances were their only hope. Candlelight flickered ominously as they braced for the final confrontation. The atmosphere crackled with tension when the ghost materialized within the sanctified walls. The exorcism began, the priest's prayers cutting through the thick air. While the ghost writhed and screamed, confronting them with unimaginable evil. Light and shadow battled violently until the ghost began to weaken. With one final, defiant howl, it dissolved into a smoky trail, banished at last. The girls, frazzled and exhausted, offered tearful thanks to the priest. As they left the church, the world seemed to settle, but an uneasy suspense lingered. The camera slowly pulled away, capturing a flicker of shadow in a darkened room, insinuating that the nightmare may not be entirely over.